They say motherhood is a journey, but let's be honest, sometimes it feels more like a roller coaster with no seatbelt. I bet you're like me, wondering why babies, or teens in my case, don't come with instruction manuals. Welcome to This Incredible Mom Life, the podcast that celebrates the beautiful chaos, quiet wins, messy moments, and everyday miracles of being a mom. I'm your host, Dummy, wellness coach, mom of 3 boys, and a passionate believer that you don't have to live at the mercy of PMS, burnout, or exhaustion. Join me every week as we hear the craziest and most unbelievable mom stories. I'll be sharing the huge accomplishments and triumphs of both our moms and their kids. We'll giggle, cheer on the kids, and discuss obstacles and lessons learned along the way. If you are struggling to be the best mom you can be, how open-minded are you to booking a free call with me? You don't have to live at the mercy of your cycle, and you definitely don't have to do it alone. Give yourself permission to let me be part of your support system. I believe that you weren't meant to just survive motherhood. You were meant to thrive in it. Every week, I introduce you to a supermom, and today's conversation is one you won't forget. Life's most profound question: what is my purpose in life? After nearly 22 years in veterinary medicine, Joelle Flynn, a mother of 3 and wife, had an epiphany that hit like a ton of bricks. She succumbed to a lifetime of self-suppression, lost her identity and purpose, and had become bitter and resentful, all to uphold a belief that perfectionism and people-pleasing was what she needed to do in order to be seen and appreciated. No value in who she was at her core, only valued for what she could do for those around her. She's been on a mission to reunite with her authentic self, celebrate and be grateful for all the trauma and the hardships, and especially the uniqueness that makes her. Now she is driven with a passionate purpose. Joelle wants for other women caught in similar patterns and feeling resentful and overwhelmed to feel compelled to reunite with their core selves, learn to love that perfectly imperfect being and all their unique qualities, so much that they commit to showing up unapologetically to the world, rooted in authenticity and driven in purpose, elevating their lives to a place where their deepest desires turn into reality. She invites you all of you today to take full advantage of getting into her free community and consider having a chat about what it looks like to hop into I Bag, where your mantra becomes I'm balanced, boundless, and genuine. Oh, I love that. Thank you, Joelle, for taking time out of your day to be here with me.
I'm so honored to be here with you and all of your guests. Thank you for having me on.
Yeah, it's going to be a great chat. I'm excited for it. So let's jump right in. Tell us who you are a mom to.
I am a mama to 3 amazing, almost fully grown kids. My oldest will be 23 in July, Andrew. My middle is M1 in October, and then my youngest, our little surprise, Vanessa, will be 16 in June.
Nice. So the kids are a little bit older than mine. Um, and I know you've had a interesting teenage years, probably with 3 of them in the house. So share a mom story.
Well, my mom's story actually goes back several years, like almost 16, to a day when my youngest, Vanessa, was just 3 days old. I had just finished nursing her. I laid her on our bed to change her diaper, and out of nowhere, she started kind of turning blue, and her mouth was gaping open, and I knew immediately that she was choking. So thankfully, I was trained, of course, being in the medical field, but I flipped her over, and I gave her a couple of solid swats on the back, and milk came squirting out of her nose and her mouth, and she was screaming. And I just remember going, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. And then my other two, my older two kids came running into the room and they were like, oh my gosh, like what's happening? What's going on? And I told them and they got all freaked out. But in the end, everything was absolutely fine. It was scary as heck though.
Yes, but it's a good thing you were prepared.
Yes, I mean I feel as though whether or not I had been trained, I still would have instinctively done what I did. It felt like just a mom reaction. So I really feel as though anyone in that position, any mom in that position, probably would have done the same thing, to be honest.
I hope so. But before we had kids, my husband and I both took the infant CPR course, and we made all four grandparents take it. So we were like, just in case, you never know what's going to happen. And you actually had to use that skill. So tell the moms listening, get your CPR course, get your first aid courses in as soon as you can.
Yes, absolutely. You never know. That's for sure.
Yeah. But I'm glad everything turned out okay. And I don't know. Do you have any life lesson tips or anything from that moment?
I feel very strongly that every single mom has a really strong intuition. And so my advice to all the moms listening or watching is definitely allow that to come forward and allow that intuition to lead the way because we really do know what's best for our children. And it's like I said, whether I had been trained or not, I just feel that I would have instinctively done what I did regardless. So I would just say tap into that intuition and trust it and allow it to come forward in order to advocate for your children.
I love that. Nice. So now tell us a little bit about who you are and what you do.
Well, like I said, my name is Joelle. I come from 22 years in small animal internal medicine, veterinary medicine side of things. And I I like to say that I bring women from overwhelm, frustration, resentment, and bitterness of people pleasing and perfectionism into what I've coined the I bag, where your mantra becomes I'm balanced, boundless, and genuine. Because I think at the root of all of our experiences in life and all of the desires that we have for the reality that we want to experience, at the root of that are three things. One is tapping into our genuine authenticity. Two is our central nervous system regulation. I fully believe that those two components are absolutely foundational when it comes to changing our mindset and therefore changing our outer reality. I think that those are two pieces that most people are missing when it comes to manifestation, which is like a big hot topic, a big hot word lately. And so that's essentially what I do. And then within the three pillars of my coaching, obviously one is central nervous system regulation, two is the mindset component, so working through limiting beliefs and fears, and also tapping into who we are at our authentic core. And I do that with a very unique strategy called human design. And human design is something that I could talk about for hours and hours and hours. But I will try to condense it down in the absolute best way that I possibly can. So, if you've ever thought to yourself that it would be so amazing if life came with a manual or a roadmap, it absolutely does. It absolutely does. And it is called human design. It's this incredible amalgamation of the I Ching, the Kabbalah, the chakra system, as well as quantum physics, astrology. So, for those of us who are very medically minded, we can get really nerdy with the sciencey stuff, but also, I mean, a touch of what some might consider a little bit of woo-woo. But every single one of my clients, whether they've been one-on-one clients or group activity clients, has come to me absolutely astounded with its accuracy. So for us as women who get caught in this people-pleasing perfectionism cycle, we tend to lose ourselves, right? We lose our identity, we forget our purpose, we lose touch with what we're passionate about. And this is what brings us all back to that unique and authentic beauty that we are within ourselves. So it gives us indication as to our gifts that we're meant to share with the world, where our intuition comes from, how to replenish and protect our energy the way we're meant to share it. It's amazing. I love it so much.
Yeah, and it's so important. So many moms are struggling with that loss of identity, the feelings of overwhelm, just survival mode. I know I had that for many years, up until recently when I learned about, taking care of myself and this and that. But it's just a common thing, right? I think most moms feel it. What do you see with those moms who are like burnout? They're just in survival mode. What kinds of things do you see with them first?
Well, number one, I do feel as though every single woman in their life can fall victim to those tendencies, the people pleasing and perfectionism tendencies. So, um, it's important for all of us as women to know that we're not in this alone, right? So many of us experience this. So, and although the people pleasing itself and the perfectionism do run much deeper, like sometimes even into past lives, if you believe things like that, previous generations, it also comes from our upbringing, our cultural experiences, perhaps religion influences, all of our belief systems and our fears. Um, so basically, people pleasing and perfectionism are the culprits of overwhelm and burnout for almost all of us. It can be the root of all of that. So, society and culture, like I said, our upbringings and all of those belief systems that we're they implant the idea that we're supposed to sacrifice ourselves in order to ensure that everyone else around us is happy and cared for. When in truth, it's actually the complete opposite. God, the universe, the divine, the angels, the stars, they intend for us to put ourselves as our highest priority at all times. And by doing that, it actually creates a big shift for us too. And it fills us up from the inside so much so that it all just kind of oozes. Like we always talk about filling our cup, not giving from an empty cup. But when we live the way we are intended to live, when we're rooted in authenticity and when we're rooted in our purpose, we just get so full that it's a stage of overflow. And I tell all of my clients that once we're done this coaching process, you're going to know what it feels like to give from the saucer underneath the cup that's catching all of the overflow and never actually give of your own cup. It is so incredibly important. So there is only benefit that can come from that. Benefit for ourselves, benefit for family, benefit for friends, benefit for coworkers, and every single life that we touch, even if it's a complete stranger. Because when we're full, kindness, joy, passion, enthusiasm, it just oozes out of us and spills onto everyone around us.
I love that. And yes, I feel that too once I did some of my own healing. So talk about how somebody can find what their human design type is.
So I can do it for you through my website. There is an option for signing up for your human design reading and charts. So there are two components to a human design reading. There's the written component that gives us all of that juicy information about our intuition, our energy types, even right down to like the types of foods that we should eat, the environments that we thrive in, everything. Like it is so incredibly detailed and amazing. And that's just a basic reading. There's also a chart that accompanies it that gives us indication on so many more things. So as an example, we can be non-emotional, which doesn't necessarily mean that we don't have our own emotions, but if you've ever heard of the term like an extreme or an intense empath, those of us who are fall under that umbrella, we are non-emotional, which basically means we take on the energies of others and we amplify it, which looking back on it for me, when I learned my human design, I was like, oh my gosh, veterinary medicine was probably the worst industry I could have ever gone into, which is why I felt that compassion fatigue so greatly was because I took on everyone's emotions. So if people had heightened emotions around me, whether they were clients or colleagues, whether it was frustration or sadness, it just, and then I would come home and just like a toxic dump on all of my family. But that's a different story for sure. But when it comes to finding out our human design, there are also a number of different places, different sources that we can go to. And there are actually a couple of different types of human designs that design readings that we can get as well. And there can be confusion just going into the internet and finding various different places to get a human design reading, and then we have conflicting information coming back to us. And that's where the coaching aspect of things can really offer a lot of clarity, because there are so many different modalities and softwares out there for different coaches who focus on different aspects of human design. So if you have fallen down that rabbit hole and you're like, how can this even be accurate for me because I'm getting all this different information? Perhaps you just need a little bit of guidance to gain some clarity.
Nice. And it sounds like it's very intuitive once you learn about it and your particular design and everything. It sounds like it's very intuitive and you're just listening to you.
Yeah, I mean, everyone has intuition. We've all heard the saying, those gut instincts, right? So everyone has intuition to tap into. And some of us actually have it in different places. We feel it differently. It guides us differently. For some of us, it's an instant hit. And if we're not paying attention, if our ego, if our conscious mind isn't clear enough to be actually paying attention and being attuned to what's happening in our body, we can miss it. While others can kind of readdress certain situations or go back to decision making processes and tap back into that intuition. But funny little side statistic is there isn't a single person on the entire planet that's meant to make a decision from our head. And this is another societal belief that has been imparted upon us that we're supposed to think logically and we're supposed to sit down and have these pro and cons, lists. And while some of us do benefit from things like that, we are still meant to make decisions from our body, not from our brain. And that blows a lot of people away.
Yeah. And it's like we've been trained to do the opposite, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So now you have a free video guide called How to Create Your Own Mind Movie. Talk about that.
Yes. So I love this so much. For any of your viewers who've ever heard of Dr. Joe Dispenza, I love him so much. I incorporate a lot of his teachings into my coaching, and he talks about what's called a mind movie. So almost everyone and their dog, aha, pun intended, has heard of a vision board. You might even see mine over my shoulder here. Oh, it's my camera's pointing in a different direction, but it's a vision board only on steroids. So it helps to elicit actual feelings and emotions more so than a vision board can. And the reason for that is because there's movement on in the video. There's obviously the sound component as well. And you can even incorporate like a song that really gets your energy going, or a song that you absolutely love and are attached to, or even using frequencies, because we're all energy and we're all frequency. And oftentimes, in order to elevate our frequency, we can even listen to certain music of certain frequencies to bring our energy level up. So the mind movie is basically a vision board brought to life. And it's meant to elicit that strong feeling of actually being in that life and being that person in that moment. Because if there's one thing that I've learned with this personal growth journey is that we have to become the person that we wish to experience our reality before we can ever experience that person in our reality. So on the inside, if we want to experience more income, if we want to experience more freedom, if we want to experience more love, more joy, more passion, then we must become more love, more joy, more passion. We need to become the person who not only can receive the increased level of income, our bodies have to feel safe to receive it. Then we also have to feel safe to sustain it. And eventually, our body also has to feel safe enough to start considering elevating above it. We've all heard of the term the glass ceiling. A glass ceiling is something that we can place on ourselves, and it's simply because our central nervous system isn't regulated.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's a mind movie in a nutshell.
Awesome. And tell us a little bit more about your Facebook group and what you do in there.
Oh, my Facebook group. Oh my gosh. I could go on and on and on about how much I love the women in that group. So it's exclusive to women. And I go in and share live routinely, generally at least twice a week. I'll share tips, tricks, tools, action steps that you can take, knowledge, little tidbits of anything and everything pertaining to central nervous system regulation, human design, and clearing fears and limiting beliefs. Obviously, the three pillars of my coaching. I love sharing other women and their journeys in that group as well. So thank you again for sharing your time with us, Ami. It was lovely to have you. I even have a 10-day central nervous system reset that's just available in the guides in there. So lots of good stuff in there. And like I said, exclusive to women only, because I want to ensure that it's a safe place where women feel safe and comfortable and protected to be able to share some of their vulnerability as well, which is a huge component to elevating ourselves both energetically and physically. And I think it's important for women to know that there are other women who are going through similar things, that they're not alone, and that they're supported.
Amazing. And I will put the link to the Facebook group in the description box so people can find you easily. But if somebody has a question and they want to connect with you, how can they find you?
I'm in all the socials, so you can search just using my name, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn. And you can also reach me through my website, mindsetwithjoe.com. And Joe is just J-O, the female version of Joe. So mindsetwithjoe.com, you can reach out through there. You can book a complimentary consult through there. You can access the video for the free guide to creating your own mind movie. Lots of good stuff in there as well. Lots of information at your fingertips.
Amazing. And again, I will put all your links down in the description box so people can find you. This was fun. You are just overflowing with joy and creativity. I can see it. I can feel it and I can see it coming out of you. So I love that. And I want to thank you again for joining me.
And I want to thank you for the honor and privilege to be here and to share this uplifting community with your people. And what you're doing is so incredibly valuable as well, because just like me, it's showing other women that they're supported, that they're not in this journey alone, and also helping women to feel comfortable getting uncomfortable and sharing their vulnerability. And I think that women coming together is so incredibly powerful. So thank you for what you do. Thank you for inviting me on. I'm honored and privileged to be here.
Thank you. And for all our listeners, remember, you are already an incredible mom. Not because you do it perfectly, but because you keep showing up, growing, and learning. If today's conversation encouraged you, share it with another mom who needs to hear she's not alone. And you'll hear from me again next week.
Are you struggling to be the best mom you can be? Are you fatigued, overwhelmed, and stressed out? Are you losing precious time with your family because of PMS? If so, sign up for my free gift on how to start living in tune with your monthly cycle. The link to get it is in the show notes below. Use this guide to help you start to eliminate your symptoms of PMS, increase your energy, reduce stress, and fully enjoy this incredible mom life. The way I see it, you have 3 choices. You can try to figure it all out on your own. You can do nothing and stay where you are, or you can get the customized guidance you need to thrive as a mom. The choice is yours. Thanks for listening to today's episode. I hope you learned something from these stories. If you enjoyed this show, please make sure to subscribe, rate, review, and share this podcast. It really helps this show grow. If you have a mom story you would like to share, click on the link in the description below on becoming a podcast guest. Remember, the content on this podcast is for general information only. It does not replace any medical advice given by your healthcare providers. Please check with your doctor if you have any questions about your specific condition and before starting any new diet or exercise regimen. Thank you, and you will hear from me soon.